Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of this mega car booty salvaged PC video extravaganza, yeah? So if you watched part 1, we know we left with a little bit of a quiz, if you like, as to what is inside this. I have 4 PCs which appear to be identical from the front. They all have the same logo on, and I'm fairly sure they all have the same things plugged into the back of them, the same add-on cards. None of them have an optical drive, so maybe this is older than when optical drives were in use, like a 386 or something, or an early 486. Maybe these were office machines, basically. So that's what we have. I'm hoping you commented on the last video, what do you think's inside this? My honest opinion, I think it's probably a 486. But I've not opened it. I ain't cheated, guys, that's for sure. I think they're 486s. Let's have a look now. Let's see what we have. And we can see if all 4 are identical. Then I have some more similar machines we can look at. There's 8 more. Out of those, I think another 4 are AT machines and 4 are ATX machines. Okay. What's in the box? Oh, well, it's a 486, I think. Look, socket 7. That's quite an old hard drive in it. It appears to be a complete machine, basically. It has a ISA graphics card and a PCI LAN card. 4 strips of RAM, so CPU is under here, little heatsink on it. It has a hard drive in and a floppy drive, so it appears to be a complete machine. Most common problem with these is the CMOS battery leaks out all over the motherboard and makes a right mess. Destroying tracks sometimes. I can't actually see where the CMOS battery on this one actually is. Yeah, I can't actually see where it is. I think I'll disconnect the power from the AT power supply. So these have an on-off switch, a proper on-off switch that switches the power, mains power, to the power supply. Yeah. So I'm going to take these off, and I think I'll see if it powers up. I have a AT power supply, a good known working one we can use. Yeah. Let's take these off and let's just see if the power supply actually powers up and gives us some voltages. Obviously there's no load on it now. Yeah. Let's have a look. I've plugged the power lead in. I'm pretty sure the switch is in the on position. I've put the light bulb on limit. Let's switch it on. Well, it's trying to run, yeah. I can hear the fans running. I forgot I still got these connected, by the way. So it appears to be running. I'll switch the light bulb off. I'll just check that I have the correct voltages here. And if so, I'll actually connect the power back to the motherboard and see what it does. Let's have a look. So with these, the black is ground. Okay, the red is, I think, is a 5 volt. I think they all really, I think it's like we used to having 5 volt, 12 volts and 3.3. I'm not quite sure. A long time since I checked one. So we'll switch this back on again. Let's see what voltages we have. Okay. So that's 5 volt. That's present. Is this minus 5 or minus 12? Yeah, minus 8. Orange one. 5, red one, 5, yellow one, 12, blue one, minus 12. Okay, so the red and the orange are basically both the same. I'll just go look that up actually as to what the actual connections should be voltage wise. I noticed the fan isn't spinning, it's kind of like trying to a little bit. Let me just check the actual voltage on an AT connector. Orange is a power good signal, okay, 5 volts when all voltage stabilised, and that's on. Red is 5 volts, the yellow is 12 and the blue is minus 12, and then the white is minus 5, okay. So let's have a look. We know we had 12 volts on the yellow, so blue should be minus 12 and the white should be minus 5. So the blue is the minus 12. Yeah, close enough. And this should be the minus 5. Minus 8. I'm not surprised that's reading minus 8. That may be normal when there's no load on the power supply, but I don't want to damage this thing. Let me just get my known good AT power supply. This is a good one. I'm just connected to the minus 12. What do we have? Sorry, minus 5. And that is more like minus 5, so maybe I don't trust the other one. And this is, let's see, minus 12. Yeah, that is minus 9.6. But I know this one's working because I've used this before. Let's, I think I'll just take the motherboard and the hard drive out and connect it to this. Let's get it on the bench where we can see it properly. And let's have a look to see what it's actually doing. We can have a much closer look at what we have now. So the motherboard has 3 PCI, 4 ISA. These are the connectors then for the serial port, the parallel port. This is where your AT power comes in. This is your keyboard, and this also has a PS2 keyboard connector, or possibly a mouse connector on there. This was behind the case, you couldn't see this when it was in the cabinet. Ah, okay. There's this Dallas chip on. This will be the real-time clock. In fact, there's real-time on it, and I think the battery is actually integrated into that, and I suspect it might, well, not be working or have no charge left in it, and that could be quite fun. Actually, I'm not sure what we would do with that. I'm guessing I will probably find out. We have 4 strips of RAM. These have a date 13/11/96, as does the motherboard have 20th of the 8th 96, so we know when this was actually made. The graphics card is this thing, yeah, the GPU, yeah, HMC, made in Taiwan, port number EA2000. That might tell us a little bit about what that is. It's corroded on the VGA connector, but probably works, maybe. Yeah, so we can stick that in. This is the LAN card. Realtek, see, even Realtek were going in those days. So this, oh yeah, so this is either like a 10 or 100 megabit in actual fact. It's got both connections on, so unless that's just wired as 10 megabit, it's possibly a 100 megabit. So that was in there. That was in the end one, so we'll put them back. A bit stiff, these things, but it'll go. It went with a bit of persuasion. I think it was actually in that slot anyway. Let's see what we have here. So floppy drive is really corroded. Can't sell that. The hard drive is an old one, of course. ST32122 medalist. I think these are 3 gigabyte. Let's have a look and see what this hard drive is. ST32122. Okay, in actual fact, it's a 2.1 gig hard drive. Okay. These might actually be worth a little bit if they're working. Yeah. If they're working. So I think which is pin 1 on this. I think pin 1 goes towards the power. Soon find out. Okay. there. This is the connector for the fan, so we'll put that on. We'll connect the floppy, why not? I have obviously the serial and parallel cables, we can leave them off. And I'll connect my known good power supply. And let's see if this 26, getting on for 27-year-old PC works. Well, the fan ain't working, we know that. I can hear the hard drive. Nothing on the monitor. Okay, we're set to VGA. So apparently it doesn't work. Take the LAN card out, we don't really need that. Disconnect the hard drive and the floppy drive, we don't really need those. Okay. Let's have another go. No. It doesn't appear to want to work. Okay. Is the CPU in this? I'm interested. Can we get the thing off? Yeah. It's an Intel. And the, I think the actual model number is under the sticker. Well, apparently I'm completely wrong. It's not a 486 at all, it's a Pentium. Socket 7, I probably should have realised actually from Socket 7. I don't see many 486s. I'm going to clean this sticker off. I mean, it says on it SY033, but I'm not sure exactly what speed it is. Let's see if there's something under here. Pentium SY033, and some other numbers. I need to look up some of these numbers and see what this actually is now. Okay, so you can see the numbers. Yeah, A80502120 is actually a Pentium 120 megahertz. Okay, SY033. Are they like valuable? I've never had one, so I really couldn't say. Let's have a look, I'm interested. Well, no, is the answer to that. Let's see if any have sold. This is the way to go. Advanced. Search for sold listings only. 10. 8. So, they're not... Having said that, that was like £11 postage from the United States. This is a UK site. So, with the postage, they're about £20. Another one there. That's a 133. Mine's a 120. Okay, so not really quite worth the €12. Sorry, the €15 I paid for the machines. Well, we know what it is now, and we know it doesn't work. Let's see if we can figure out why it isn't working. Let's take the RAM out. Let's connect a speaker to it, and let's see if we can get any bleeps out of it. No, it doesn't seem to bleep. Doesn't seem to bleep. Take this graphics card out of it. Let's go again. Doesn't bleep. Okay, what I'll do is, I've got 3 other machines that look to be identical to this one. Let's have a look to see what's inside them. And if they are basically the same, let's get all the boards here on the desk so we can kind of figure out, hopefully if we get one working, from that we can work out, you know, what's good and what's bad. And then let's see if we can fix some stuff. Just as I do that, I'm just going to make a mark on them so I know effectively this is number 1. Can we see that? 1. Yeah, so I know effectively which board came from which machine, which hard drive belonged to it. Okay, because possibly if we can get them running, I'd be interested to see if they'll boot from the original hard drives. Floppy drive doesn't really matter, so we can put that one on one side, and then let's have a look at the others. Okay guys, I just forgot to hit record while I opened this one up. This is the second one, very corroded on the back. I commented, though you didn't hear me because I wasn't recording, that this had the graphics card here, could be a PCI graphics card. I've opened it up and it is a PCI, looks like a Cirrus Logic to me. So that's the graphics card, this is the network card, hard drive, this is another socket 7, so this is another Pentium. Different type of motherboard. So I'm going to take this one apart, I'm going to get it onto the bench. In fact, I'm going to do the same thing for machines number 3 and 4, because I think they're all very similar. And hopefully once we go on the bench, we can start going through this with a bit, get something to work, and from there, then we can start testing other things and figure out what actually is working and what isn't working. Here's the second one then, a different motherboard. There's some stickers on it that say 1996. Yeah, I can see them on the RAM to start off with. I think these are actually EDO RAM, these things are called. But no, they say Sims, Sim 1, 2, 3, 4. Still not totally sure what they are, but they're longer than like the 32 pin Sims that we had with the 486s. Okay, another socket 7, so I'm guessing it's another Pentium. Same sort of LAN card, 1996. I'm pretty sure these came out of an office somewhere. Cirrus Logic graphics card in this one, so like the other one, this is where you can effectively plug extra RAM in. So we can put this in the board. Very stiff. It is in there. Floppy drive, 2-disc quality of any use. The hard drive on this one, Quantum Trailblazer. Just looking to see what maybe the capacity is. You know, I'm not exactly sure what that is. Quantum Trailblazer. Okay. Doesn't seem to say what the capacity of it is. Alright, well, let's try this. So let's connect power onto this. I'll put the speaker on. Let's see if this one boots up. Well, it kind of goes round. Well, it does go round. Rather slowly. This one appears not to do anything either. I'll change the CMOS battery. Put a new one in there. Okay, let's go again. Graphics card. Okay. No bleeps. Ah, one bleep. But nothing on the monitor. Okay, no picture, but it did bleep. That's a bit of a good sign. Let's try the graphics card in another slot. That's like no graphics card, I think it's saying. Let's go again in the first slot. This time nothing. No blips at all. Try this one. One bleep. And the monitor's on. Yeah, this one's working, guys. Just show you. There you go. Okay, so this one's actually working. Okay, you see it there. Let's see if we can get us to boot from the hard drive. 32 meg of RAM, it's a 133 megahertz. So 16, these are 8 meg each, the DIMMs. Let's connect the hard drive and the keyboard. I don't have a AT keyboard, but I do have one of these. No, now it's saying there's no graphics card again. It looks like it's not actually making a very good connection. Probably this wants all the connectors cleaning. Try again. One bleep, blue light. Hard drive's chuntering away. Okay. I'm sure now this memory is called RAM. F1 to continue. Okay. Boot disk failure. So it's not reading the hard drive, but it appears this may be working. Did it detect the hard drive? No. Oh, it is RAM. That's what the stuff's called. I know now. I'm not learning anew. I'm just remembering stuff that I'd sort of forgotten over the years. The hard drive was kind of clunking. Yeah, it's not finding the hard drive. I'll try a different cable though, you never know. I think I may have actually had the hard drive cable on the wrong way around. See what it does. Well, one bleep, monitor's on. Okay. You can hear the hard drive. No, it's not detected it. Okay, so that one appears to have a faulty hard drive. We'll call this number 2 and we'll go on to the other ones, and then at the end we can figure out what's working and we can see if we're going to make any money from this stash of computers for my 180 euros. Okay. Exactly the same on the front as the other ones. So this one again has the graphics card down here. It's probably an ISA graphics card. This one's a lot cleaner than the other ones. I'm kind of thinking it's probably the same sort of thing. As well as these 4 identical ones, I have 4 more which are AT machines as well. Depending how time goes, maybe we'll get to look at all 8 of them. At least just to see what we have and what's working. And then the last 4 are all ATX machines, old ones. Okay, I'm pretty much assuming we have another. Let's have a look. Yeah, socket 7. So this must be yet another Pentium 1. This has ISA graphics, as I suspected. So I'll take this one apart, same as the other ones. We can test all the hardware and then we can easily swap stuff around until we figure out what works and what doesn't. Number 3, this one looks very similar to the first one. I don't see any CMOS batteries, has this Dallas chip. This one won't start either. I'm starting to think if it's something to do with these and how we fix it if it is. This has a PCI LAN card again, and it had an ISA graphics card. This one's a Realtek graphics card, so we can stick that in, get rid of some of the fluff, and let's see, definitely get rid of some of the fluff, if this one will actually boot up. Again, these are extremely stiff to get in. I think it may have been in the end one. Off the shot, but I got into the second one. Maybe that's where it came from. Again, beige floppy, a bit discolored. And we have another of these 2.1 gigabyte hard drives, the Seagates. Okay. This has PS2 and AT keyboard connector, so I'm sure this is identical to that first one. It has a number, MB8500 TVX-A, version 1.1. So these motherboards appear to have a part number or model number. Let's try this one. If you're not familiar with these AT connectors, you can put them on back to front, so don't. The way to do it is that all the black wires are next to each other, which is in the middle. So just get the black wires together. Okay, black, 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 and it'll be correct. Right. Speaker. I made a note of where it came off, so that can go on there. Let's see if this one will start. Fan works better on this one. Okay. I don't hear any bleeps. I don't have the monitor attached. Okay, try again. This looks like it has the same problem as the first one. Okay. Will it also not bleep if I remove the RAM? Just, you could probably hear that crack a little bit on the end of the socket. It's okay. Remove the RAM. I think these are 8 on each one again. The EDO RAM extended data out. It's all coming back to me now. EDO RAM. Okay. So you've got a bleep without any RAM. No. So with no RAM or graphics card, we still have the speaker attached. And it doesn't bleep, yeah. Nothing. So we can say this has a problem like the first one. I can't just fit a CMOS battery like the second one. And I suspect, let's see if we have any more with these on. If we do, and none of them boot up, then I think it's because this has a battery built into it. It's now effectively dead. And we have to see if there's some way to fix that. We can just have a look at what we've got on this one. How does it compare to that first one? Or the second one? Nice and sticky. This one's a 120 megahertz. It's the same part number, 2120. I now know that's the speed, 120 megahertz. Pentium 1. Okay. Let's continue a bit more. I've got the fourth one. This looks like the second one with a PCI graphics card. This one has a... well, it says line in and line out like it's a sound card. I'm fairly confident this is the same as the second machine pretty much. So I think these four all now Pentium 1. Okay. And we can take the top off. Yep, another one. This one doesn't have a... oh, it does have a cooling fan. This just fell off, that's all. This one's another Pentium 120. Okay, stick this back onto it. Okay, so what do we have? Well, this is a ISA, or half an ISA sound card, probably. I'm going to do much the same as the other ones. I'm just going to take it apart and then we can see what's in. This is another Ceres Logic Notes, an S3 Trio, this one. Slightly different one. Okay, let's take it apart. This one is very similar again. This has a 2.5 gig hard drive. None of the hard drives have been working so far. No, actually, we've only had a chance to test one, is the truth of it. We can test them all once we get some good stuff together. S3 Trio, 64V plus, again it has the sockets for extra RAM. This is the sound card, so it's a golden sound card. I'm really not familiar with this at all. 1993. And this has sockets on for the CD-ROM, so Sony. And you'll see that the cable which goes to the CD-ROM actually fits onto there. And this is a Sony CD-ROM. So these were not IDE. At this time, Sony, Mitsumi, Panasonic all had their own different interfaces. That might be an interesting bit of retro hardware. Another PCI LAN card. And the motherboard is another one with one of these Dallas chips on. No CMOS battery, which I'm sure is built into that, unless somebody tells me otherwise. And I wouldn't be surprised if this does the same thing as the other two which had these on. If that's the case, we're kind of forming a bit of a pattern here, and I suspect that the problem with the non-working ones, if this is the same, it's kind of like the same problem with all of them. Looks probably like a 32 meg of RAM again. Let's power it up. We'll leave the graphics card off just for the moment. We'll put the speaker on it and we'll give it a go. The CPU cooling fan, the thing is broken, actual fact, the little thing. It actually broke off, it just came off. Maybe we could stick that down with a little bit of something, I don't know, or we take one off a broken one if we can't fix all of them. And attach the power to the fan anyway. Okay, let's see what this does. We're ready to go. Switch her on. Well, the fan is completely seized, and this doesn't bleep. Okay, let's stick the graphics card in it and put the monitor on it. Okay, put that on there. Well, we know the speaker's good because it bleeped on the other one. Anyway, once again, power, silence. Okay, so we might be kind of forming a pattern here with the ones with these chips. I have 4 more similar machines which I'm now thinking are probably all basically the same as these. So let's carry on. Let's go through the other 4 as well quickly like this. Let's see what we have. We have one working one, so we can test the various graphics cards and such on that. But if we can find this similarity with any more that are not working, I think then we need to have a look at that and see if it's in some way related to the problem. If this is behaving the same as the other non-working ones, it's not going to bleep without the RAM either. That's something else we can just try. We can take the RAM out and let's try again. Does it bleep? No. So that again behaves the same as the others. Here is the 5th one. And here is a Quantum Bigfoot. So this is an IDE hard drive. We used these a lot around 1996. They were cheaper than the 3.5 inch drives. They were usually 2.1 or 4.2 gig. I'm not quite sure what this one is. And there was a lot of discussion about the performance of these. So you have a 5.25 inch platter, so the seek time was slower. But because the tracks were longer, the actual data transfer could be faster, especially towards the outer side of the disk platter. So there was a lot of discussion about them at the time, but because they were cheap mainly, they got fitted into a lot of new PC builds. Let's take this machine apart and let's see if this one has any working stuff in it. I can see it's similar to the other machines. This has 2 PCI cards. This looks like this is another S3, in fact. Is that missing the something or other? It doesn't seem to be attached to the actual backing plate. Oh, it's missing the nuts, if you like, that go around the VGA socket. That's the only thing that holds it to the backing plate. So that's what's actually missing. Nice and clean then. Yeah, you see, so that just fell off it. I'm sure I can find some of those. S3 Trio 64V Plus, very similar to the previous one, so we have that. Pretty much the same sort of LAN card again. So although this machine is different in its construction to some extent, because of what's in it, makes me think it's very similar to those first machines we looked at. Okay. The fan's broken off the CPU cooler. And there's the motherboard. This one has a CMOS battery, so let's see, out of interest, if this one actually boots up. That will mean we definitely have a pattern forming with all those other ones with that Dallas chip on. Here is the Quantum Bigfoot, if you've not seen one of these before. 5.25 inch hard drive, quite slim, or at least slim for the time. Yeah, this one is, well, it says it's a 1.2 or a 2.5. Let's zoom down a little bit. Okay, so it says it's a 1.2 gig or a 2.5 gig. I guess you can actually set the cylinders, heads and sectors one way or the other, so it works as a 1.2 or a 2.5. So this would work on old motherboards like 486s and such like at 1.2 gig. That's probably, possibly quite desirable. We'll have a look. A, I don't know how many survived. B, I don't know how many of them are working, including this one. But I think we can say this is from around 1996. Here's the motherboard, very similar to the other ones. 3 ISA 4 PCI. I'm sure you've noticed these are all before AGP. We have the AT keyboard connector. I'm just going to, well, actually I'll measure this battery, but I'll bet there's nothing in it at all. And then I'll try it to see if it'll start with the battery flat. If not, we'll put a battery in. Let's see if it's like the other one. Maybe it won't work at all. So put 0.2 volt in that. The LAN card is basically the same as all the others. And this is the S3 Trio 64V Plus. So that's the graphics card. Let's see if this one powers up. Okay, there's no RAM actually thinking about it, just notice, so I need to put some RAM in. I'll tell you what, I'll power it up first with just a speaker attached. Let's see if we get any bleeps out of it. And then we can stick some RAM in. We have plenty of it from the other boards. Okay, let's try. Well, oh, it didn't seem to like it. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but the power supply made a bit of a funny noise. Before I try again, let's just see if any short circuits on this board. We have ground, okay. We have on the 5 volts, there's no short there. -5 is fine. -12 is fine. +12 is fine. This is 5 volts again, and this is just the power grid. So that all looks alright. Say short circuits. Put the meter in here so we can just check the 5 volts. But let's just switch it on again and see what it actually does. Well, we have voltage this time. And that's bleeping to say no RAM, so I'm not quite sure what happened the first time. Let's get some RAM off another one. Okay, they are in there. Let's see what happens now. Will this actually power up? Well, it doesn't bleep at all now. Oh, I have a picture, guys, there, yeah. This one's a Pentium 133, 32 meg of RAM. So that's another good one. I'll just attach the keyboard again because I had that plugged in on the first attempt. Okay, see what it does. Yeah, it's powering up okay. So that wasn't causing the problem. Okay, yeah, one blip this time. That's booting up. Let's attach the hard drive that came with it and see if it has anything on it. Does it have an OS? Does it work? Yes, come on, some Bigfoot. Let's have a look. As I recall, the Bigfoot made the most wondrous sound when it was booting up. Let's see if this one does. It's spinning. That's a good start. Oh. Doesn't sound very happy. No, it looks like it can't actually detect it. That's a shame. I'd love to hear that thing working. Oh, I've just give it a little thump. Spun down now. Let's go again. Just give it a little bit of a persuasion, yeah? Let's see if we can get any life out of it. Unfortunately, that doesn't sound very healthy. Spun down. Yeah, it spun down and stayed off this time. Okay, so it's not finding the hard drive. It doesn't sound very healthy, but the motherboard and graphics card appear to be good. So we'll put this down as number 5. Working. We can, when we've been through the last 3, we can look at some of these hard drives and other bits and bobs and see what we've got. Here we have number 6. This is a desktop machine. They were never anywhere near as common or as popular as the towers. Unfortunately, it's not in good condition. The plastic split here, it's really quite dirty. I imagine it has much the same inside it. So probably an ISA graphics card on this one and probably a PCI network card. Let's have a look. I have a strong suspicion all these computers were built for the same company and they've come out from somewhere that's might have been lying around there for 20 years almost, or maybe more actually. Could have been lying around there for 20-25 years. Oh, these were built near to me. So Vecindario is a large town on Gran Canaria, the second largest after the capital. It's about 15 minutes drive for me, and it actually means People's District basically. This has a different badge on the front, STI, rather than the one with the parrot or papagaya in Spanish. Okay, so this one, another Quantum Bigfoot. Another Pentium, no cooling fan on this one. This is another, is it a 120 or a 100? It's another 120. I think once again I will dismantle it and let's have a look to see what's working. This one I noticed, the motherboard is a bit of a crazy angle. I think this has been thrown around at some point or extremely heavily handled. So that may be a problem, especially for the hard drive. I've seen these damaged by this. I've actually seen the end of the PCI socket actually being smashed out completely. Okay, this one always seems to have physically survived. This is the ISA graphics card. Okay. And then, yeah, it's kind of like held on by one screw down here. But nothing much else, just a couple of plastic clips, yeah. So that's all that was holding the motherboard in. Okay. I did find the CPU cooling fan amongst that lot. I have it, I don't know if it's working, but I do have it. And here it is. So this is another Pentium, as I said. I have the little clip for the heatsink, but this seems to be seized up like most of the other ones were. This is fun. So we have a ISA graphics card of some sort. Looks like it might be from 1993. Although the machine will be newer than that. These are fun. So they're like little plug-in RAM chips, yeah, little angled ones. Okay. Let's see if this one is actually working. So we'll put this back in. Okay, it's back. We'll connect it up and see what this one does. Guys, this motherboard's a lot of fun. And I've never seen one like this before. So we have both ATX and AT power connector. It has both types of keyboard, AT and PS2. If this fits into an ATX case, it's the first time I've ever seen an AT keyboard on an ATX motherboard. You would assume that there's down here there must be a power switch. I can see a turbo LED, reset, suspend switch, SPI LED, speaker, key lock. I don't specifically see a connection for the ATX power on unless it's the suspend switch. I'm not sure about that though. So I'm not quite sure where that would plug onto the motherboard, but you would assume that if it has an ATX power supply, unless it is wired in such a way which isn't difficult, so when you apply the power it just comes on. It's a little bit odd. What is this motherboard? Like many motherboards of its time, it doesn't really say. It seems that at this time era in the 90s, motherboard manufacturers were not making a big fuss about who they were just busy making motherboards. Another thing you'll see straight away with this, it has this EDO RAM. It also has PC133, which is what these are. So these are PC133 DIMMs, and they could fit in there. I'm pretty certain this is an either or, not a both together. So I'll leave the RAM as it is. But again, that's the first time I've seen it, to be quite honest. So all in all, I think this is quite a scarce or unusual motherboard. Whether that translates into like worth more money is quite possibly a completely other matter. Let's power it up and see what it does. I'll attach a monitor just in case. I'll leave the RAM in as it is. I will attach a speaker. Gives us a good indication of what's happening or not happening. There we have a speaker. Right, power. Well, the fan tried to spin. No bleeps, nothing on the monitor. Oh, I have a blue light on the monitor. This is working, guys. Okay, you have it there. So we have another working one. That's machine number 6. That now gives us 3 out of 6, and all 3 that don't work have those Dallas chips on. I have 2 more to look at, but before we do that, let's try the Bigfoot. Sounds a bit healthier than the other one did. Okay. What do we have? Looking for the floppy. Tell it not to bother. Ah! Aha! A rather dodgy looking Windows 95. Could be a problem with this graphics card. I'll just see how hot the CPU is because the fan isn't working. Listen to that drive. Yeah, it looks like there's a problem with the graphics card, but that's something we can look at. Unless that really is just the wallpaper. Do you know? That might just be the wallpaper. I don't have a mouse attached to it, so I'll shut it down for now. Don't want the CPU getting too hot anyway without the fan running. Trying to figure out if I can use the keyboard to get out of here. I probably can if I can figure out how to do it. There we go. Start. Switch off. Switch off the equipment. You know, I think maybe the graphics card is working and that's kind of like possibly supposed to look like that. This is probably running like 16 colour mode or something like that. Hard drive. I'm not sure this will actually shut down because it's not ATX. I think it might just do that, make up, and he's saying please wait while we close the system. Basically, well, not please, but wait while we close the system. But it may in actual fact just not do, or just eventually say you can switch your computer off now. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. So this is the floppy drive that came out of that one, and it actually has a diskette in it. Maybe you can see what's on there as well. Don't see these very often these days. I mean, there were millions, billions of these things about. Are they rare now? Did they survive? I honestly don't know. I suspect they survive in large numbers. Here's number 7. This has the parrot logo on again, papagaya. This has a little LED display on the front, different cabinet, and it has, looks like PCI in here, I would think, but it's probably a very similar machine. Things are looking up a bit. As I mentioned on the last one, we now have 3 out of 6 that actually do boot up. So we've gone from 1 out of 4 to 3 out of 6. If either this or the other one is working, that will give us 50-50. This one's actually quite clean, tidy compared to some of the other ones. Okay. And can we get the top off? Oh, there's one more screw, that'll help. The answer is yes, we can if we take the screw out. Okay. Let's see. Sorry guys, a bit noisy. Should have warned you. Well, this one actually doesn't have a hard drive fitted, and it doesn't have any RAM fitted. Again, I will take it all apart and we can see what's in it. And here we have it. I'm sure this is the same as some of the other motherboards. Doesn't seem to have anything on. Probably 1997, January 97. That would kind of tie in from what I remember we were building. So this has a S3 Expert Core PCI graphics card. This one did not have a LAN card in it. Or if it did, it's gone missing somewhere. No, I don't think this one had one. So I have some RAM from one of the other machines. Let's give this a go. Well, this is making a bit of a funny noise, this one. Yeah. I didn't connect the fan. I'm not sure the power supply started. Again, let's check for some shorts on this one. Ground, 5 volts, no, that's okay. -12, okay. Sorry, -5 that was. This is -12, okay. This is +12. It's reading a bit low. Oh no, is it? Looks like this might have a problem on +12. Yeah. Looks like this one might have a problem on +12. Let me compare that with one of the other ones. I have board number 5. I've been marking them. That's number 7. This is number 5. I'll just attach the power leads, same as we had. Okay. This was one of the working ones. What do we have? On the 12 volts. Yeah, that's quite high. So the other board has some problem on the 12 volts, and we can have a look. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the last machine, and then we know exactly what we have. Actually, just before I put this on one side, I'm just going to take the graphics card out. Now we still have the problem, so there's a low resistance on the motherboard. It's identical to that other one, so we should have a good chance of finding out what the problem is there. I guess we could just remove the CPU in case. No, I'm sure the 12 volt doesn't go to the CPU, I'm just thinking. But hey, let's remove it anyway. Take that out. I think on these this was powered directly from the 5 volt. Or possibly 3.3 volts. What do we have? Well, we still have a short, so that isn't the problem. Here is the last of these, so that's 8 out of 8. This one has a CD-ROM, but it doesn't have a sound card in the back, so I'm guessing that might be an IDE CD-ROM. Slightly later. This is very corroded. Quite a mess. Let's have a look at what's inside this one. I still have 4 machines which are ATX, old ones, so they will be definitely on the next part. We have probably some interesting things to look at because this video will be too long. It probably is already, but at least we know what we have. Yeah, once we've had a look at this one. Doesn't want to come off easily. Oh, it's kind of like jammed in down here. Yeah, it's not fitted right. There we have it. What's this? Well, it basically looks the same as all the others really. 3.5-inch hard drive. Yeah, there's the heatsink. Come off. This one has another S3 card, but it's a different type. That's the only add-on card, and this has something strange in it. Oh, this has something strange in it. Let me take it apart. So this one has the Dallas chip again. So far, none of those have worked. And it has this thing here. Yeah. I've seen these before, like back in the 90s, and I cannot for the life of me remember what they were. It fits into a slot. It fits into a slot that looks vaguely like an AGP slot, but of course it isn't. I think these may have been cache memory. Maybe a bit of a precursor to the slot A. So we have these chips on. Okay, TM Tech. Doesn't really say what it is, but I do have a suspicion that it's cache memory. Hopefully somebody with a longer memory than me, no pun intended, will remember what those things were. Another Pentium 1, of course. Because of the fact that none of the others with that chip on have booted up, I suspect this will do the same. After that last one, I'm definitely going to check for shorts on the 12 volts or elsewhere. Okay. Let's have a look. So ground, 5 volts. I'll put it on ohms range, that'll help. 5 volts, good. -5, good. -12, good. 12 volts is good, yeah. I think this will not work, but let's see. The hard drive is I think it's a 3.1 gig, something of that type. Fujitsu, this one. The graphics card again has slots for extra RAM. This is an S3 DX. Okay, we can put that in. It will go in the first slot. Doesn't actually hit that. It's close, but it doesn't hit it. Okay, we'll stick the monitor on. Give it a chance, yeah. That. Okay, so it's making noises. The first one sounded like it was saying no graphics card. Take this off. Very stiff. Let's try it without the graphics card, okay? Let's try it without. I do have the cooling fan off this one. This one might actually work. The clip's missing, but I have the fan. This seems to dispel my theory about that chip stopping the other three from starting up. But we'll find out eventually, I guess. Okay. No graphics card, no bleep. Okay. Thought we might get one blip out of it, but we got nothing. Let's try this in another slot. Okay. That's like a graphics card. Let's try one of the graphics cards off the other boards, one that we know works. This is the graphics card off number 5. Easy to fit because there's no bracket on the back of it. Okay. Put that in. There we have it in the anticipation of a result. Whatever it is, it doesn't like it, that's for sure. Take some of these out. Go again with 2 RAM strips here. Something, now it likes it. We have a picture. Okay, so this one apparently works with 2 strips of RAM in. 430FX chipset I've just noticed on these, what they are. Okay, so that does boot. Let's put the hard drive on it. It's ready to try. Spins up. Yeah, I'm going to get a picture out of it. The fan spins on this as well. So it's found the hard drive. Okay, I need to put a keyboard in it saying press F1. Okay, it's saying change the disk and press the key. Doesn't seem able to access the hard drive. Okay. It looks like this board works then. Looks like the hard drive either doesn't work or it has nothing on it. Maybe this has some faulty RAM. I'll use this one now to test the graphics card that came with it. Okay. Because this one actually has the working fan, I'll give it a bit more heatsink compound. Let's see if this graphics card's working. Yeah, looking good. Well, the blue lights on, yeah, that's working as well. Okay guys, what I'll do is now, because this actually has some heatsink compound on, I will use this motherboard and I will test the other hard drives and graphics cards from the ones that were dead, effectively. And then we can make a list of everything we actually have that's working, and let's see if we have some profit from what is working already. And here we have the results, guys. So machine number 1, the motherboard is dead. It has an ISA graphics card, HMC EA2000. It has this hard drive. I've tested the graphics card and the hard drive in another machine. It boots Windows 95. Machine number 2, actually the motherboard works. It didn't find the hard drive. The graphics card was good. I tested the hard drive in the other machine. It doesn't work. It doesn't detect. Number 3 is the motherboard's dead again. It has this ISA graphics card and this hard drive. I've tried them in the other machine. The hard drive and the graphics card work. Again, Windows 95. This one, the motherboard again, is dead. The graphics card doesn't work. I've tried it in another machine. The golden sound card does detect. I need to test the thing thoroughly, but it does detect, and the hard drive works now with Windows 95. Machine number 5 boots up. There's no hard drive with it, and the graphics card is working. 6, 7, and 8 boots up to Windows 95. The graphics card works. ISA, this one, PM V301, and the Quantum Bigfoot works. Windows 95. Number 7, there's a 12 volt short on the motherboard. I've tried the graphics card in another machine. It works. There was no hard drive with it. And number 8, it boots up. This is the graphics card. It works, and the hard drive. It does detect. It does power up. It tries to boot, and then I think there's no operating system on it. So I think it actually works. It just doesn't have an OS. So we'll take it from that. And this is the actual results, and you can see. So machine number 1, if the thing isn't working, I'll put nothing against it. The graphics card, I had to take a bit of a guess because I couldn't find exactly that one, but £35 seems about right for one. Hard drive 20, so that's 55. Machine number 2, all the motherboards I've put to 60. I can find very similar motherboards, and 60 is a very good average, and they sell well. Yeah, now the price I've put for the motherboard includes the processor and the EDO RAM with it, so it's a bundle. 60 is extremely realistic, but I've put 60 on each of them. The one with the both ISA, with both AT and ATX power connectors seems a bit more rare, could be worth more. This one, graphics card didn't work, no hard drive, 60. And we go on. On this one, the ISA card's working. I found the exact price for these. 30 is perfectly what you would expect to get for it. 20 for the hard drive, 50. This one, again, motherboard not working. Hard drive. Now, there's a star by this because I don't know. I can't find any of this model for sale, but similar ones, 30 seems to be going rate, so I put 30. The golden sound card, easily 40, so that's 70. Number 5, motherboard processor RAM combo, 60. Graphics card, 75. The one I put 0 here, by the way, it is working, I've just remembered. It's just that they sell for less than £10, so it's not worth anything, yeah? Okay, so this one here has been the best so far, 125. Number 7, just the graphics card is good. And number 8, motherboard and graphics card are good. The hard drive, this is the one that it does detect, but it doesn't boot up, as though there's no operating system on it. I've had a look, they seem to sell for less than £9. It's the 10 gig, so I've put it as 0. I'm not even totally sure it works. So that's what we have, and the grand total, when we add all that up, is £535. I think the other motherboards might be repairable, and they deserve a video of their own. This one's much too long. So the one with the short circuit on the 12 volts, we have other boards of exactly the same type, so we should be able to get them working. And the 3 that have those Dallas chips on, I found a 4th one with the Dallas chip that actually works. So hopefully we might from that be able to get those working. I think they're the same board. So in both cases, I've got good working boards of that type. So I think we can probably make one video with the one with the short and then one with the other three. That's one big ka-ching, one big profit. We still have 4 old ATX machines, and we still have the Yamaha amplifier as well. So hopefully they will bring some extra profit. Hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Hope you stuck through it if it was a bit too long. And I will see you all soon on another Will Electronics Repair video. Ciao for now, guys.